A gouge on the sidewall, 6 millimeters deep, on a front tire the day before a long highway trip. It was unrepairable. Left unchecked, it could have led to a blowout at high speed. That's not something you gamble with. The car? A BMW X3 M Sport. The driver? My teenager, leaving the next morning. Canceling the trip would have been a huge disappointment. Finding the warranty claim? Too slow, and still over $130. So, I had one day, practically one evening, to figure it out. What followed was a full DIY rescue. Tire purchase, inspection, bead breaking, mounting, inflation, and balancing, all done in a single night, with tools I had on hand. Did it work? And was it ready for the road trip by morning? Let's walk through the whole process. I had all the tools ready. Harbor Freight manual tire changer, a duck head mounting and demounting kit, centering cone, tire spoons and rim protectors, and a bubble tire balancer, plus mounting hardware and tire supplies. Step 1 was anchoring the tire changer to the concrete floor. I marked the hole locations, drilled them using a 1/2-inch masonry bit with an impact drill, hammered in the 3/8 drop-in anchors, and set them with the setting tool. With the anchors in place, I bolted down the tire changer securely using 4 3/8-inch bolts. Without this firm foundation, the whole setup would flex during use, and that's a battle you don't want. Before touching the duck head, I had to break the tire beads. To begin, I removed the valve core using a valve tool. With low-profile tires like this, that's no small task. The built-in bead breaker arm on the Harbor Freight changer was good enough for regular tires, but not strong enough to handle these stiff sidewalls. So I brought out a separate heavy-duty manual bead breaker. I also used bead lube along the tire edge to ease the process and reduce friction. It's especially helpful with low-profile tires where the sidewalls don't flex easily. I positioned the foot just inside the tire bead, tightened the clamp to hold the wheel steady until it reached the upright position, and slowly drove the breaker foot down using a ratchet. With some pressure and a bit of creaking, the bead finally gave way. With the tire spoon, I then pried the tire bead on multiple locations around the wheel until the bead was fully broken. Then I flipped the tire and did the same on the opposite side. Again, make sure the bead breaker sits in an upright position, and slow and steady pressure with the ratchet or impact wrench broke it loose. With the beads broken, it was time to demount the tire. I placed the wheel onto the changer's center base. Make sure the locking pin goes through the base slot and into a lock hole in the wheel. This prevents any unwanted rotation. To keep it aligned, I slid in the centering cone, followed by the clamping plate. Then I threaded down the center post and used a bar to tighten it down. This clamps the wheel securely. To reinforce the center post and to ensure smooth duck head movement, I clamp a shaft collar to bind the post and plate together. I stack a set of thrust needle bearings above it. Then I lower the duck head pipe onto the post. Another set of needle bearings and a top shaft collar went above the pipe to lock it all in place. The rotation was smooth and controlled. Before demounting, I lubricated the tire bead and the duck head itself. To remove the top bead, I used a tire spoon to carefully pry the bead up and over the trailing edge of the duck head, the curved lower edge opposite the direction of rotation. This is the key position that allows the tire to lift over the rim as you rotate. Once the bead was set over the trailing edge, I pushed it with the tire bar counterclockwise, and the duck head walked the bead right off the rim. Steady pressure and proper alignment kept everything clean and controlled.
Easy.
This is so easy, effortless. For the bottom bead, I repeated that process. Pry the inner bead up over the trailing edge using a spoon, and again rotated the duck head counterclockwise. Low profile tires resist a bit more, but with the right leverage and technique, the bottom bead came free just as smoothly. And with that, the damaged tire was off. No scratches, no slipping, no regrets. Now I was ready to mount a new tire. It was already past 5 p.m. I called Jin at my auto inc with only 30 minutes until closing. He came through, a like new Michelin 245 40/20 for just $100. Better quality than my current tire and a perfect match. With the damaged tire removed and the rim cleaned up, it was time to mount the new tire, just in time. First, I applied bead lube to both tire beads and the rim lips. Mounting starts with the bottom or inside bead. Make sure you know which side goes down. It either has the inside marking like this, or if you have a directional tire, you can figure out based on its rotation and whether you are replacing a driver or passenger side tire. Once you confirm it's easy to push the bottom bead with the low profile, less sidewall flex means the bead is already close to the rim center. I simply angled the tire, pressed it down with my hands, and walked it into place. No tools needed. The top bead is where the duck head and leverage bar come in. I place the bead over the leading edge of the duck head and make sure it will slide under the trailing edge during mounting. That's the correct orientation when pushing duck head in the counterclockwise direction. Before start pushing, I clamp a drop center tool onto the side of the rim. This holds the bead down into the drop center, giving you the clearance you need on the mounting side and dramatically reducing tension on the bead. Then using the long tire bar that comes with the changer, I inserted it next to the duck head with its end resting on the center post to pivot and pushed it counterclockwise. This motion pivots the duck head around the wheel, walking the top bead into place. For proper leverage, I pushed on the side of the duck head so I could use the full length of the bar, and it was extremely light and smooth to push. Thanks to the lube, the drop center clamp, and proper leverage, the top bead went on easily. No tire spoon needed, no pinching, no force. With the tire fully mounted, it was time to seat the beads and inflate to spec. To begin, I removed the valve core using a valve tool. This allows a higher volume of air to rush in quickly, critical to get the beads to seat evenly. Again, I lubricated tire beads, connected my air compressor using a standard air chuck. As air filled the tire, I kept a close eye on the bead area and listened carefully. Within seconds, well under 30 psi, I heard the satisfying as both beads snapped securely into place. That sound tells you the tire is now properly seated on the rim. Once seated, I stopped airflow, reinstalled the valve core, and then topped off the tire to the factory spec, 32 psi for this 245 40/20. To confirm the seal, I gave the rim edges a quick spray of soapy water and checked for bubbling. None. A clean, airtight fit. Bead seating can be dangerous if done improperly. Never exceed the tire's maximum rated pressure, like 40 psi, and always keep your hands and face clear of the sidewall while inflating. If the beads aren't seating by around 30 to 40 psi, stop, deflate, and relubricate the beads. reposition the tire, and try again. Overinflation can cause a blowout, especially with older or damaged tires. With the tire mounted and inflated, the final step was balancing. A smooth ride starts here. I set the wheel on my bubble balancer. This one has a built-in centering cone and had already been adjusted so the bubble starts at true center before placing any wheels. This tire was nearly new, and the rim had been balanced just 5 months ago when I last mounted it, so I expected it to be close, just not perfect. Once the wheel settled, I checked the bubble. It floated slightly off center, indicating a small imbalance. Instead of adding weight, I simply remove a few existing weights from the opposite side of the bubble. That's where the imbalance was, just enough to bring the bubble back to center. Normally, you would remove old weights and start fresh, especially if you are mounting a very different tire. Then you would add small stick-on weights to the side of the bubble drift, the light side of the wheel. It's best to spread the weights out evenly rather than clumping them together. Once the bubble floated right back to center, I knew the wheel was good to go. Back on the car it went, torqued down to spec. I took it out for a highway test drive, and sure enough, no vibration, no pulling, just smooth, confident driving. Next morning before departure, I re-inspected everything, tire held pressure. All in, this was a 1-day, on-budget DIY tire rescue mission. And the results? A road-safe car, peace of mind for a long trip, and a growing home setup for future tire service. Here is a quick breakdown of the tools used. Harbor Freight manual tire changer, mounting hardware, centering cone, duck head kit and mounting pipe, tire spoons and rim protectors, tire loop, drop center clamps. Altogether, that's $175 for main equipment with the tire changer and the duck head kit. As an option, you can add shaft collars and needle bearings to make it more sturdy, durable, and smoother. The total will become $205. Most of these are one-time investments. With every tire you change, the cost per job goes down. Additionally, the bubble tire balancer was $60 or so. The used but nearly new Michelin tire was $100. The total time, about a day, including making the calls about tire pickup, equipment setup, install, and clean up. But more importantly, it was done right, done safely, and done on time. And the result speaks for themselves. The car drove smoothly on the highway. Bead seal was tight, balance was spot on, and the damaged tire was safely retired. Most importantly, my teenager made it to and from the trip safely without a hitch. And that's what really matters. For me, this is more than just a tire change. It was about being prepared, protecting your family, and using what you had, skills and tools to make something happen. I hope this video was helpful and gave you confidence to replace your own tires and take safety and budget into your own hands. Remember, if Professor can do it, you can do it. Stay dirty. Be safe. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and give you peace. 平安。